Uncharted 4 has been delayed until spring 2016. That's according to a post on the PlayStation blog by the game's creators, Neil Druckmann and Bruce Straley.
Yep.
They said the game was more ambitious than they imagined, and that obviously a developer like Naughty Dog, who's known for their pristine quality in their games, isn't going to release a hack job. So spring 2016, originally it was sometime in 2015.
Yeah.
But there's a lot to unpack here. Max and I did a conversation about this, so you can go check that one out. But I kind of want to know, your guys' opinion on this. I guess first and foremost, like, what do you think of the delay? I mean, how does that make you feel that we're gonna have to wait another 6 months or so to play the game?
I think I was right, because I came on the show and I said just that, and I also said that's fine. It's a good thing.
Are you a prophet, Brian?
Yeah, slightly. What I think is most kind of interesting about this is that it clears up a lot of space for Tomb Raider to sort of play on its own, instead of these two franchises going head to head. And we've obviously talked about how much they're very much influencing each other nowadays, or have been. And to watch those things kind of go back and forth is very interesting to me. So Tomb Raider kind of has its own space now, and in fact, all of the fall games have their own space, and we're rapidly moving away from a seasonal industry. I feel like Christmas happens 4 times a year now.
Yep.
Like the whole like rush to get games out before the holiday, I don't think that really matter anymore. Like obviously that's a good push and it's a good time to sell a game, but a lot of people just buy games when they want to. It's not so much of a retail driven industry. Same thing we were talking about of discoverability on the PlayStation Store and on other storefronts, of being able to just turn on your system and buy a game. It doesn't really matter when a game comes out anymore. So I'm all for this. I didn't want to exist in a world where I had to play this game and the new Tomb Raider game within a month or two of each other.
That's a really good point.
That would have been really jarring for me.
But I mean, that's us going under the assumption that Tomb Raider is not also going to be delayed.
Sure.
Because there is no way that all the games that are still slated for fall 2015 actually come out in fall 2015.
Yep.
If last year was any indication between Battlefield and Evolve and Batman and Witcher, all these games slipping to the next year.
Really just hope that publishers and studios kind of realize that I think it's really detrimental to the reception of the game. I think when people kind of are just there's a disappointment that comes with a delay. Like when you find out that the game is a thing you're not going to get, like,
But I'm fine with that if the alternative is getting Assassin's Creed Unity. I am great.
But it's. I mean, I'm glad we're getting a delay for games to be fixed and not getting rushed products that come out in time for Christmas. I just wish that they would announce things in a more timely fashion, where they're like, let's leave it in the oven for an extra 6 months ahead of time.
Or don't slap a date on it a year and a half out.
Yeah.
Because you're probably not going to make that. And I understand that it's probably for quarterly investments and it's probably for pre-order things, but it seems like it's so anti-consumer. It seems like the consumer is not benefiting from this whatsoever.
I think. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean
No, go for it.
The consumer benefits in one way, and that's that they do get a finished product. I agree. Announcing it early is messed up. I don't think they announce it knowing it's going to go forward. Maybe they do. I don't work inside.
I mean,
but,
Batman is that prime example. Arkham Knight was revealed at GDC last year. It was given a date in October, and then literally 2 or 3 weeks later, it slipped 6 months.
Okay,
it's like you guys knew about that.
Point.
That's not
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised by this development. I'm happy to hear a game's delayed when I get an idea that's from somebody like Naughty Dog. I'm going to get a fine product when it comes out. They're going to make a gajillion dollars and sell a gajillion copies, and it's probably going to be good, and that's all fine by me. But yeah, you don't want to have your chain yanked.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I imagine the situation's different in every case, and they're never, ever, ever going to tell us whether or not this was planned ahead of time.
I want my chain yanked.
Yeah, me too. Well, talk to a ghost.
Chain yankers.
I think it's like a lot of it has to do with the sort of the climate of the way people play games and consume games now. I feel like a game needs to be as close to the meter of perfect as possible, because games get ripped wide open now. Like, it's very different than they used to. Games come out now, and people, before they're even out, they get leaked copies or early copies, and they Twitch stream the entire game straight through. Yeah. People on YouTube upload like glitch montages. Like, people are kind of always looking for a way to sort of tear a game open, and it's why all of the stuff they did in Assassin's Creed, to be like, we went to Paris and we motion capped like an actual croissant.
I like the idea that the croissant has the little balls on it.
We filled little balls, thousands and thousands of dollars.
We tore off
spent.
flake by flake. And really, when people think of Assassin's Creed Unity, you think of the character with the eyeballs bugging out.
But you think, but that's because of like the dumb echo chamber, the dumb internet echo chamber.
100%.
I put like 40 hours in that game and had nothing like that happen to me.
Of course, and that's because you went into it with your own set of perceptions. But a lot of people who don't play games anymore, who just sort of inherit gameplay from other places, like people who stream entire games now have now reached the point of entitlement where I've actually read something the other day where someone was saying if you're in the Twitch comments and you're just watching my stream but you're not giving me money, it's the same thing as pirating a movie.
Who said this?
Of a popular Twitch streamer.
Jimmy Twitchy. Old Twitchy John.
John Twitchingtons.
Wow.
And to me that's kind of like, well, you didn't make that movie. Like I'm watching you watch a movie. That you're moving your hands slightly, like I mean, and I know there's a level of expertise that comes with speed running and Twitch plays to an extent.
Having to be entertaining and engaging the audience.
100%. I totally get that, but I also feel like they're like the way people consume video games are different now. So if Naughty Dog puts out an Uncharted that has even a glimpse of Nathan Drake falling through the geometry like he did in that one demo, and that becomes something that pervades the entire gameplay in any capacity, that ruins the game for many people. That
it's going to trump the 1,000 amazing things about
100%.
the game.
Like some guy has sat there and articulated every leaf and every flake and every croissant. There's
probably
millions
not
of
croissants in this game.
I heard there's a whole.
There's that whole mission where you go to France and you got to blow up that bakery.
I'm calling it croissants confirmed. I'm going to say it.
Can I just say right now that I think it's infuriating that a baguette has never been a weapon in Assassin's Creed.
Yeah,
that should have happened.
I just think it's messed up.
I feel like I've seen games where you can hit someone with a baguette.
With a baguette?
It's underused as hell.
I know.
Probably Dead Rising.
The Saboteur.
Where can you hit somebody with bread? Is there a game where bread's
probably Dead Rising.
There's a game where you are bread.
There's a game where you are bread. But is there a game where you wield bread? I'm trying to think of a game where you wield bread. I cannot think of one.
Yeah,
hatred.
It's really sad.
Do you get bread in hatred?
I really doubt it.
You can throw pastries in the.
So one of the other big questions about this though is. What does this mean? Like, what's going to fill that space for Sony in the fall? Obviously, there's amazing third-party games coming out. There's going to be Ubisoft has a trio of games with Rainbow Six and Division and Assassin's Creed. We're going to get a new Star Wars Battlefront. But I mean,
you don't fill an Uncharted-sized hole. I think that's the
no.
answer.
But like, what's the? I mean, what does Sony first-party studios give us now? Because we know Bloodborne's going to be out in like a week or two. Until Dawn is summer. But then what? There are no games on the horizon.
I think their mantra is less like let's do a bunch of hit singles and let's put out 100 songs. Like I think it's more, it's the fact that like every few days there's a reason to go interface with the PlayStation ecosystem and play something that's different or unique or exclusive or even just associated with the brand name of PlayStation. I mean, I think most people are playing their multi-platforms on PS4 now over Xbox One. Sales numbers show that. Yeah. So
what's the number breakdown right now? It's like 23 million PS4s to like 8. How?
It's not 8.
It's higher than that.
It's higher than that. Yeah.
But I think Sony's probably banking pretty hard on like just they're in the lead.
Yeah.
If there's that many people who own the console, then there's that many people going to be buying third-party games for it, and they're going to do okay anyway. So
yeah. I mean, if you look at even their first year was really dry on like big picture first party titles.
It was like Killzone, which was whatever.
Like Little Big Planet, or no, Knack or whatever.
Yeah.
Which I like.
Let's not speak of that again.
Hey, I really tried to like that game.
I tried to like Knack. I thought I would like Knack. I was excited. I got handed the guide for Knack originally, and I thought I was going to love that game, and that game sucked.
I'm so glad we don't have to play launch titles for another like 7 years.
Yeah, exactly. Seriously,
like that's so nice. They're just so. There's always this kind of like we're filling this quota,
Yeah.
Like you got the gun game, you got the cute game, you got the car game.
Yeah. Only the Dreamcast gave us the launch we deserved.
Yeah.
N64.
N64.
Yeah, N64. Well, it gave us
N64
gave us one
was
amazing
fine.
game, like
Pilot
world-changing game.
Yeah.
Actually, Pilot Wings was good, wasn't it? But
so Matthew wrote in. Matthew has a theory on what's going to happen. He says, Beyond. Hey, Max, Marty, Brian, Vince, Jared, News Ghost, and any other IGN employees / apparitions. With the delay of Uncharted 4 to spring 2016, the Snowcat. Do you think it's possible they could release an Uncharted remastered collection in its place this fall? It would generate the same kind of hyper sales compared to the sequel. I'm new to the PlayStation community, which a lot of people are. We have to a lot of people who were 360 owners are now PS4 owners. So there's a lot of folks who probably didn't play Uncharted 1, 2, and 3 who are now owners of PS4.
I throw this stat around a lot, but it was something like over 70% of people who had purchased a PS4 hadn't played The Last of Us.
Yeah.
So
crazy.
And that's
wow.
Yeah. I mean, that was the milestone of last gen, right?
That would make a ton of sense.
Yeah, and having he says a 5 or 6 month gap between the remastered collection could drum up hype for A Thief's End. What do you guys think? I think this is something that I honestly think this will get announced at E3.
Yeah,
I could totally see this being a November thing where you get all 3 games, you get the multiplayer, you get all the new achievements. It's running at
it makes a tremendous amount of business sense, and I want to play it. Yeah, absolutely.
And it could maybe it comes with like a multiplayer beta.
Sure.
For Uncharted 4.
I would like to see more than just like an up in resolution though. There's some, I mean, not so much. I think 2 and 3 are pretty much hold up, but there's a lot of stuff in 1 that's sort of like even like lobbing grenades with motion control, which I think they patched out. I don't know. Like it's going to be tough. I'm a big fan of those, but I know that I like the idea of them more than I actually like the concept of sitting down and playing through 3 games that I've played already.
Yeah, especially with so many new games coming out.
Yeah, I have a very tough time doing that. But again, there's a lot of people that haven't played any of those games, so I'd rather see them sort of trickle them out. Like if they put out Uncharted 1, and then
I'm the other way around, man. I want the compilation.
You want everything at once?
Give me Super Mario All Stars. That's what I want. Yeah,
so is
always
that,
and forever.
Is that like the collector in you? Or?
No. It's just like, look at all the games.
Yeah.
They're so fun. Which shall I play first? They're all good. It's more that.
I get that.
And the packaging too. That's the other part that it's not the collector thing, but I do like when they provide context in these things. I mean, I said Super Mario All Stars, which was mind blowing when it came out way back in the day. Nintendo re-released that 25 years later, and they literally like slapped the ISO on a CD with no context.
Yeah.
It actually, even when you started it up, it had Super Nintendo controls. And the
that
options
was just
menu.
like, okay, guys, way to miss the point. I mean, I love that they did it. I love they gave it to us, and the book that came with it was very cool and all that. But
there's a little book in a soundtrack CD and stuff like that.
But they could have wrapped that in a virtual museum that would have been wonderful.
Yeah,
you're so right. I feel like so many people miss that opportunity. Like I look at like the God of War collections and stuff like that. Even I think like there were some Tomb Raider collections, like things where it's just like a bunch of games on a disc, and they do that like dreadful thing of just putting a bunch of box arts on one box art and just
you contrast
so
that
hideous.
with some of the compilations like M2's done, in Japan, where they're like, we'll make you a new Phantasy Star game to go with the rest. Hey, Phantasy Star 2 was really bad, so we'll just remake it in 16-bit.
Yeah, I'd love to see something that does like, as opposed to the 4 Stallone movies for the price of 1.
Yeah.
Instead of that, it's like here's the Alien quadrilogy on Blu-ray that's got like behind the scenes stuff. And
Totally.
Naughty Dog, I feel like is a studio that could totally do that because they have, they've made like amazing documentaries and stuff.
Yeah, there's making of art books and stuff they could throw in there, like statuettes and stuff like that.
Also, for the people that are yelling at their iPods right now. Fantasy Zone, not Fantasy Star. Sorry for everyone.
Everyone was yelling. People were just pulled over in the middle of the streets and screaming. Everyone was getting nosebleeds.
Yeah, what's happening? That at least one person got a nosebleed.
I mean, there's no doubt about that.
But yeah, I'd love to see that. I'd love an excuse to replay those games on my PS4.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even if I only play a few hours of each one, it's just cool to hold me over.
But what if they don't? Then there's that weird, like I did the same thing with GTA where I just kept, and thankfully they did re-release an HD version, but I kept being like, I want to play more on PS3, but I need to wait because I don't want to spoil my appetite. I can't spoil my dinner there.
Yep.
Yeah.
What if they don't put it out? And it's like I'm gonna be sitting here being like, I really want to replay like 1. I never actually played 3.
Yeah.
I want to go back and check that out and just. What if I don't? And then I just wait too long, and then I have to dust my PS3 off, and it's even older at that point.
Yeah.
Well, if we're talking about fall, I'll probably still be trying to beat Bloodborne then. So maybe we just go back to that for a while.
I love how like, what are they going to do for what's Sony going to do in the fall? And the reality is, that a lot of people will not have beaten Bloodborne.
Yeah, that'll be the answer. That's their strategy. They're just hinging on that. They're like, nobody's beating
the game being too hard.
Sure. I mean, the alternate too is that this definitely comes into play is that they put out 3 Uncharted games on one disc in one day, and people get fatigued. You play through that and you're just like, I've had enough. Like, because you're playing through what 7? How many years is that worth of Uncharted games in one place in
an entire generation
in a couple weekends?
Yeah,
that's a good point.
People love that though. They marathon. I mean, Netflix launches whole seasons now. People like to binge consume media.
Yeah, totally.
And we have a delivery method.
The online nature of Master Chief Collection not working well, like everyone loved that.
Yeah,
loved it in theory, and now it's actually fixed, so they love it in execution.
They put every Marvel movie in theaters in one weekend, and you can go there and feel like a hostage.
You can go there. They give you a Marvel themed diaper.
Are they including Big Hero 6 in that or
no?
No,
that's not part of the cinematic universe.
I wonder if that counted or not. I wasn't sure.
Sadly.